Charles Westbury,
Here.
Rita Marable, Robert Ray,
Here.
Thomas Stonemaker,
Here.
John Harley,
Here.
George Slappy,
Here.
Randy Toms, Clifford Holmes, Preston Hawkins,
Here.
Stephen Tingen,
Here.
Jimmy Roberts,
Here.
Francis Adams,
Here.
Frank Duke,
Here.
Robert Rickard, Robert Pivot, Chuck O'Neill, Lonnie Miley,
Here.
Matt Rogers, Michael Silverback,
Here.
Eric Wilson,
Here.
Richard Bazemore, Melvin Lawrence,
Here.
Here.
He's here.
Paul Morris,
He's here too.
Yeah.
Marvin Walker,
Here.
Barbara Williams, Dr. Walker, James Richardson,
Here.
James Curry, Rich Hall, Henry Brady, Lee Slade,
Here.
Tim Young,
Here.
James Colson, Billy Westford,
Here.
Walter Rocker,
Here.
Terry Schwimmer, David Ballard, Charles Williams, Shannon Hart, Catherine Epps, Jimmy Smith, Mark Dupree, Charles Brack,
Here.
Marty Domingue,
Here.
C.L. Brooks, Jonathan Jackson,
Here.
Bill Bentley, Andrew Salier, Charles Sims, Travis Blackwell. Mr. Chairman, make the motion.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and again for another day, and Father, for all your blessings upon our life. We thank you, Lord, that you've given us all an opportunity to serve. Father, we just pray that you would direct us in everything that we do and everything that we say. Father, we thank you for this food that we've had, and Lord, for what it does to us in nourishing our body. We just give you thanks in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
In case you're not aware, one of our council members, Mr. James Curry, lost his wife this week, and please keep James standing. Awesome prayer. Introduction, yes. Where do you want to start? Way back on the left.
I'm Cheryl Crumbley. I'm an alumni of the Middle Georgia Regional Leadership Commission, and I have my co-part with me. If you were part of that alumni group and you're here, you can stand up too.
Yes, sir.
I have with me, Mr. Russell Howard, who is with Macon County Economic Council, and, chief guest with me tonight.
Thanks, sir. Right table, anybody else?
Got Mr. Billy Matthews here, and I was new executive director of Development Authority.
Any other guests? Representative Belville else? Our present, sir. Yes, sir. That it? Okay. Yes, speaker, Warren, you want, excuse me, that's a line.
How y'all doing?
All right.
Just wanted to, on behalf of the, Maconville, Economic Opportunity Council, I wanted to present a letter, to the Middle Georgia Regional Commission. I serve as the board president, and on behalf of the board, on behalf of Sharita Hill, who is our executive director, but could not be here tonight because she's out of town, I just wanted to read a letter that I'm going to present to, Mr. Nix. Ms. Howard, who is here with me from the Macon-Bill BOC, staff, she has, she prepared some little gifts, some little tokens of appreciation that we left, that we gave to Ralph when we got here, that will go to the staff. But I just wanted to read this letter, and it says, Dear Mr. Nix, on behalf of the Macon-Bill County Economic Opportunity Council Incorporated, Board of Directors and staff, we want to express our sincere appreciation for the partnership with the Middle Georgia Regional Commission. It has been a pleasure working with Nick, and Nick, I look at Phil now, I'm not even going to mention Nick's name last night. Yeah, Nick's name. April Moss, in the Technology Service Department on creating our new logo and launching our new website. Jonathan Cornell has been a great assistance in helping us develop a community needs assessment to provide high-quality education and self-sufficiency services to the community. Shanita Davis is an overall EOC supporter and a valued member of our Head Start, Early Head Start Policy Council. Our transportation team works closely with Grant Lasford, Matt Garvin, and Crystal Vaughn, and we are truly grateful for the trust you have placed in us to facilitate our coordinated transportation services to Bill, Monroe, Crawford, and Peach counties. And we especially appreciate you, Mr. Nix, for overseeing all of the above. We hope to continue our valued business partnership with you, and we look forward to your support and collaboration for our continued success. And besides Sharita Hill, our director, and as a board president, I will present it to Mr. Nix. Thank
Again, thank you, Mr. Brown. This time I'd like to call Lauren.
Well, as you heard as we were introducing guests, we have a number of the Middle Georgia Regional Leadership Champions with us tonight. And they're gonna make their way up here and I'll introduce them as they come up. By way of background, in about 2012, 13, that time frame, we started some conversations with the J.W. King Institute of the University of Georgia about the need for a regional leadership program. And after several months of talking with them about wanting to create something that was unique in the country for regional leadership programs, they came before the council to seek your endorsement for us to continue that program development, which you did embrace. And then finally, with the funding available through the Department of Defense, Office of Economic Investment, last year we were able to launch the first inaugural class of the Leadership Champions. As you know, they were commissioned in August, and in September we had some of those participants joining. They've been working on a program of work, refining what they did during their session, and they are here tonight wanting to share with you their program of work that they are about to embark on, and also to seek your endorsement of that and your support of it. And so I'm going to introduce, we've got Donovan Head, Chris Vaughn, Joe Thomas, Jay Cox, Cheryl Crump, Barbara Williams. We also have Ben Vaughn and Tim Young. That's all. So 38 total participants who went through the program, and we are hopeful to be able to launch a second class sometime later in 2016. So I'm going to turn it over to, I think, Chris.
Would it be okay to expect from you?
You bet.
Okay, great. Well, good evening and thank you so much for having us. I'm Chris Vaughn and I have the honor and privilege of being the chair of the advisory committee for the Middle Georgia Regional Leadership Champions. So as Laura said, we were commissioned in August and we have been working since then. And everybody has a handout at your place, and this has more information about our group. It has a list of our alumni on that. But so since August, we have met, we've come up with this 5-member, advisory committee, and we are charged with making sure that the ball keeps moving. So, tonight, we're here to share with you a little bit about what we've done. Over the course of this program, we were charged with coming up with a vision and a mission for the Middle Georgia region, which you'll find in this handout. But our vision, our leaders focus on fostering collaborative efforts to be catalysts for improving economic prosperity, education, and quality of life for a thriving Middle Georgia. And those three things, economic prosperity, quality of life, and education, are really the focus areas that we worked on as a group, and we've come up with action principles for each of those. And our mission really is to work as one. So every county, every city in our region has so much to offer. And not every city and county has exactly the same thing, which is great because we can play off each other's strengths. So everything about our program was working together as one and working as a region. So I want to say thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity. And my colleagues here are going to share with you a little bit more about each focus area and then also what we're going to be doing from now on. So this hopefully won't be the only time that you see us. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe Thomas.
Good evening, and thank y'all for allowing me to participate in the program. And as you see in your body of work, we really narrowed the vision down to 4 different activities that we've got: economic prosperity, education, and quality of life. But out of those 3 focus areas, we actually come up and we spent about 9 months as a group working together, teaming, going into the different regions and different communities of the region, and talking to different people and asking different questions. And what I'm going to briefly get tonight is economic prosperity. And you can see some of the action items or action activities that we're going to try to do. But one of the things we challenge ourselves with is to come back after what we went through and actually try to move it forward and try to move these concepts forward. So one of the things you'll see as you look at economic prosperity, you'll see to be a thriving Middle Georgia, we must have diverse economic opportunities, skilled workforce, and strategies to market Middle Georgia as a desired location to live, work, and play. And so the first question we had to ask as an economic group, that team that I was part of, was what is economic prosperity? And how did we get those answers? Well, we went out into the communities. We talked to different leaders and various people, some of the people in this room I'm sure we talked to, but other people out there running businesses, people just everyday walks of life, to try to get answers to those questions and to try to help us understand what was economic prosperity, what is that concept? And what we found, and that's kind of how we came about to our action principle here. And then backing from there, as we tried to talk about it as a group, how do we move that forward? How do we help take that and actually drive into that area? So the first action principle we're trying to do is explore. And you'll see that as you look into it, and you look into your handout and kind of look through it. I'm not going to do it a lot of detail about it. You can see we're looking for opportunities that we can support the Middle Georgia Alliance, Economic Alliance, which is already established, how we can partner there and continue to leverage what we all can do together. Because as she said, the power of one is really tremendous of everybody in this room of what we can do together and how we can reach out and partner and help bring in industry, bring in jobs. Because one industry that affects one community here, usually employees come from all our communities to support that industry. So trying to get that concept, trying to understand it, and trying to get that across. The other thing is support programs and initiatives. Now we see things such as career academies and different things coming around technical colleges and government colleges, trying to really work together with them and try to help them move forward and get the message out to everybody else, because our normal public sometimes doesn't understand some of the challenges there, why some things have to be like they are, maybe squash or whatever they do. It needs to be to kind of enable things to happen with industries and with education. And that's the last piece, is really talk about education and our leadership. For leadership, if one thing spoke out very loudly to us, it's leaders that have the mindset and in working together with educational partners, trying to partner industry and education together to try to move this forward so that we can work together as one. And really, economic prosperity is trying to create an environment so we all prosper. And we got a great place to work, live, and play, as well as a great place for people to come and be part of. But to do that, we've got to have jobs and opportunities for people. With that said, I'm going to lead into Jonathan, let me tell us a little bit about the educational side.
Okay, and if y'all give me just a moment, I'm going to move that editor, and I've got some visual aids for this one. So our leadership group did split into 3 different segments, and the segment I was in was focusing on education, and we came up with some action items. First of all, in doing that, we did some data research and came up with a snapshot of where we are now. Caveat being that these are probably outdated numbers. I bet they came out with some new ones since. But this map shows the 3rd grade reading level, color coded. With our counties ranging anywhere from 73% on level down to, I believe, 41.1% on level. And then our 4-year graduation rate, which is usually what people use when you say graduation rate, with counties ranging from 82.9% down to like 54%. And then this we thought was interesting. It breaks down, most of our counties had 1 high school, except for Bibb and Houston, and this breaks down by high school where the graduation rate sits for the 4-year rate. So using this knowledge, we first want to pursue relationships with each school system at all levels, and what we did was encourage our members to seek out one educator and meet with them and find out what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the frustrations that they have at the school level, at the teacher level, also an administrator, preferably a principal, get that level. So, and then that will move us into hosting a regional education summit, hopefully on an annual basis. And what we would do is bring together each of the 11 school superintendents, as well as giving Representative Epster a little bit more work and bringing in the state representative and state senators to come together either before session or before school starts and have a dialogue that way, and also forming a position paper showing the positions that we support as a region moving forward with legislative session coming up, and just sharing ideas about what works, what doesn't work, where we can improve. And a lot of this inspiration did come from Dr. Jones out of the Boone County. He's a superintendent here, and his goal for Bibb, and we think it would be a great goal for the region, is in 10 years to get to 90% graduation rate. And it is doable if you focus, each year on a certain benchmark. And we came up with various means of doing that. Some of these certain school systems, it's actually something where you've got to get in on a family level and try to, the problem isn't really at school, it's at home, and try to help these parents hold a workshop, teach them how to help their students study at home, give them the resources at home to help themselves, because in certain situations they might be working 2-3 jobs and don't have the time to commit, and they may want to. It's not all these situations where it's just total negligence. I think I've hit everything. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'll turn it back over to you.
My name is Jake Cox. I work for the Health County Board of Commissioners. And my group focuses on quality of life. And in that, we boiled the ideas down to 3 main topics. Ways to reduce crime. Second idea was to how to improve mental health services in the region. And third, how to increase digital access to underserved communities. And the reduction in crime we felt was a BRAC issue. And the idea that we came up with is to get the chief law enforcement officials, the sheriffs and police officers in a room, I guess here, it's neutral territory, and just come up with best practices. What works in your community? What works here for crime prevention, burglary, things like that they can just communicate together with a focus on neighborhood watch, because we all know that neighborhood watch, being the citizens being the eyes and ears of the police department or the sheriff's department, works great. The improvement in mental health, that kind of is a law enforcement issue as well. We hit on the idea of what can mental health officials do to keep recidivism down, because you get a lot of mental health cases that come into jails. What services do they need before they get into jail, what can we do to keep them from being repeat visitors when it may not be anything but simply giving them the services they need. And then the increased digital access, we came up with the idea of partnering Cox Communications, the Board of Education, and faith-based community in the region. And the idea is real simple, is to set up computers, and in the evenings, say 3:30 to 6, have a location within the churches, within the communities, so these kids would have a place to go. for homework. They would have, keep them off the streets. It would impact positively, the criminal element again. Give kids a place to go. And it would also give them a place to do their homework in a controlled environment. And also, in a controlled environment, folks would have access to the internet that don't have it, so they can look for jobs in job postings and not look on Facebook, but do something creative. So that was our focus, and you can see the quality of life listing in your brochure. I just wanted to flesh a little bit of that out. Reduction in crime, improved mental health issues, and increased digital access to underserved communities. Now, I'll turn it over to Sheriff.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Crumby. I'm from Baldwin County. And in closing, I want to thank everyone in this room for your support of our leadership class. And we've all committed ourselves to be here as a resource for future leadership classes. And hopefully the mission statements that we've developed in the action plans will be carried on for a good long time to come. Our next steps will be, very soon there'll be letters going out to all the governments within our region that will be introducing our leadership class and what we're all about. Between now and May, our alumni group will be presenting to every city and every county government authority what we're up to and what support that we need from each facility. We'll continue to work on all the action principles so that we can get these areas that we focused on out to all people that are in our region. And in closing, if you would just look at the next to the last page and go through, Joe came up with a really nice saying from John Maxwell. Every major difficulty you face in life is a fork in the road. You choose which track or head towards breakdown or breakthrough. The Middle Georgia Regional Leadership Champions are committed to building greater collective leadership capacity in the Middle Georgia region to achieve breakthrough success for the region. That's our commitment. Thank you so much.
Before we need a motion to endorse work program of the North Georgia Regional Leadership Champion. So, second. Motion and second. All in favor, aye? Standing order. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the general session? Have a motion. Second. All in favor, aye? No old business. New business. Order of bylaws have made the following appointments for the 2016-2018 term. Budget audit personnel committee members are Robert Rick, chairman, the county members, municipal members, get paid for non-public members, Civil Home Associate members, John Westbury, at large member, ex officio members, Mr. Shannon Hart, Mr. John Westbury. Pension retirement plan committee members are George Flatley and Mr. Frank Cruz. Agent service committee are Johnny Westmoreland, Paul Chapman, John Harley, Francis Adams, Lonnie Miley, Mike Willabrock, and Nelson Walker, Henry Craig, Terry. Thank you. Terry, Miss Beth, Jonathan Jackson, Bert Vivian, ex officio, and Dennis Chenoweth, ex officio. Okay, I will serve as the policy representative for the Georgia Association of Regional Commission, and the entire council will serve as the CDB. No action is required on these appointments, so I appreciate everybody serving and your willingness to serve also. Thank you. Okay, resolution to honor service of council members. As mentioned in the January meeting, the number of council members retired from service. We have prepared resolutions on each of them, highlighting their contribution and copies of the resolution we introduced included in your package. I will entertain a motion to approve these resolutions in honor of Johnny Brown, Alicia Cabrillo, Charles Cook, John Howard, George Mitchell, and John Reed. Is there a second? Have a motion, is there a second? Second. Motion second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. This time call past Chairman Charlie Westbury to the front.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Glad to do it. And I'm glad to be sitting back in the back.
I got mine right there.
Will you stay and represent that resolution?
Yes, sure. I'd like to call on Mr. Johnny Brown. Well, all of you come up. Nick Beaver is not here, except for Charles Cook, John Howard, George Mitchell, and John Reed.
Charles Cook, my friend from Crawford County. Your glasses on when you read it. Let's see, Charles been here since July 23rd, 2012, and been a very faithful member and served till January 14th, 2016. And congratulations. Mayor Howard.
Yes, sir, that would be me.
John. Good. Mayor Howard served from January 12th, 2012 until January 14th, 2016, 4 years. We appreciate your service. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. All right. And Mr. John Reed. We should certainly appreciate you. He's ex-chairman too. All right, I can't have John did. Let's see, January 10th, 2002 till January 14th, 2016. Good man. Thank you so much. And good luck to you, other people. Thank you. Sir. They want a picture after the meeting. You guys don't run off. Okay, good. I got it. Thank you.
Again, we're going to do
Okay, the following local assistance requests have been received since the January meeting, and there is staff time available for request. The preparation of an update to the Baldwin County Hazard Mitigation Plan, preparation of the 2016 Community Development Block Grant application for the city of Hawkinsville, assistance with updating the Hawkinsville-Pulaski Comprehensive Plan, preparation of the USDA Rural Development Housing Preservation application for the city of Arlington, preparation of a grant application for the new animal control facility in Montgomery County, assistance updating the sign ordinance for the city of Milledgeville, assistance in preparing grants for funding a dog park for the city of Perry. Preparation of an assistance to firefighter grant for the city of Kingsburg, and preparation of a USDA community facilities grant application for Tweed County. And also I'd like to take this opportunity to inform you that the council in January, the Regional Commission hosted sales team training in partnership with Georgia Power and McGee for economic development professionals within the region to help provide helpful tips for interacting with economic development prospects. And I'm available for any questions at this time.
Thank you. You heard the request, I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion. Second. Say aye. For FTA section 5310 application.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all know, or most of you I'm sure know, the Regional Commission has performed transportation services for the 5310 Coordinated Transportation Program for a number of years now. And this resolution is giving me approval to submit the application for the fiscal year's 2017 application to the Department of Human Services for specifically for aging services clients. All the counties except for Putnam County have aging services clients that receive transportation services through this program. Putnam County receives transportation services through other areas
just gives, Ralph specifically the authority to sign the application and any additional documents that are required as part of the application process that we have to submit to DHS. So we just need to get a resolution, approval for the resolution to submit the application. Anybody has any questions, I'm glad to try to answer it. If not,
Any questions? Do we have a motion to approve the, application? Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Judith?
As required by the Georgia Department of Human Services Division of Aging Services, the Area Agency on Aging submits an annual update to our Area Agency on Aging strategic plan, along with this year is a new year for the strategic plan for the next 4 years. We are asking for a resolution to submit the plan as required to continue the services of the Area Agency on Aging and continue the comprehensive services in your community. Are there any questions?
Hearing no questions, is there a motion to approve the submission of the FY 2016 area plan? So moved. And a motion, is there a second? Motion second, all in favor, aye? Greg, you're next on the list.
All righty.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Up here again to once again talk about our regional plan, which I probably sound like a broken record at this point. So going to spare some of the details about what the plan is. I think at this point I've already told everybody that about 10 times, and probably about 10 different ways. But we have been continuing to work on the plan since our last meeting, and we are here today to hopefully transmit that up to DCA. Just to give you a little bit of background of how we got to this point, we had a total of 18 stakeholder meetings all across the region. We have 175 unique attendees at these meetings and over 120 different responses to our Middle Georgia Community Survey that all helped us inform this plan. This is, I haven't checked all the records, but I think this is the best turnout we've ever gotten in terms of support for the plan, and so we have you all to thank for that. Because hopefully this is, it's definitely helped us, and hopefully it will be something that can help all of our communities here as well, going into the future. But we've been able to take a vision statement, work on some maps, looking at redevelopment patterns and areas of future development. You can see some of those outside, and some of you may have seen them as you were coming in. We worked on a regional work program to help us actually implement the plan, which focuses on topics like economic development and strengthening our workforce and education, connection there to economic development. Talks about taking advantage of our natural resources to help use those not only to improve quality of life within the region, but hopefully also to attract new folks to come into the region, be it as tourists, visitors, or even folks who want to now live in Middle Georgia. And we've been talking about the need for planning as we go into the future for smart growth in our communities to make sure that they may maintain their status as places where we actually do want to live and can attract the next generation of folks who come into Middle Georgia and who are growing up here, attract them to stay in Middle Georgia. We've got some new standards that have been updated in conjunction with that, as well as some new essential standards that we're going to be working with our communities on to help make sure that we're getting folks up to date with websites in each of our communities so that your citizens can adequately get in touch with you, contact you, and have a means to find out where you're at and better connect all of our local governments to the public there as well. We're going to be working with a lot of our communities on getting budgets adopted so that each community can have a fiscal game plan moving forward for the future, and we're going to be working hard to make sure that we get all of the reports, timelines, deadlines, all met for DCA to keep all of our local governments in good compliance here. So with that, we're going to ask for a resolution to transmit this first draft of the regional agenda up to the Department of Community Affairs. They'll get a chance to look over it over about the next 2 months or so. They'll come back, have an official comment period, give us the suggestions, the comments that came out of that period. We'll make some changes and come back in June with those changes made to ask for formal adoption of the plan. For now, Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions, we'll turn it over to you for the resolution to transmit.
Do I hear a motion to approve the submission of the draft regional?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Manager, give us financial, quarter financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Seems like I was here last month, but actually I was, but that last month was just kind of catching up. So this will kind of get us on to what we do with a regular schedule when we do these quarterly reports. And again, this is just to kind of let you know how things are going at the RC in terms of financials. Now we're halfway through the year. And for the most part, things are moving along exactly as you would expect about halfway through the year. Local revenues through December 31st are a little bit behind there at 35% of budgeted revenues. Specific reasons why it's a little bit behind: the administrative fee from GSBO, or the small business lender, has not been received yet. Almost 39,000 has been approved for payment by the GSBO board, and that check was actually cut in February, so that is some revenues coming in there. State revenues are at 44%, so we're just slightly behind there. Aging is at 39%, but the projections on aging are that we'll fully maximize that contract review by the end of the fiscal year. Some of it is just timing on when things happen, more of it sometimes happens towards the end of the year versus the beginning of the year. Federal revenues are at 44% of budget revenues. Some specific items of note in there: the transportation administration fee that we received as part of the coordinated transportation program is actually exceeding budgeted expectations for the year, so that's moving on pretty good actually. And we've actually received an extension for the OEA contract that will now go through May, so we'll get some additional revenues in there. Expenditures through December 31st are 44%. Just some specific things with that. Support services are actually a little bit ahead of the expectations through December 31st. But again, projections of workforce are we're not going to budget that will fully maximize exactly what we expect to get. We've got some purchases of equipment and computers for the training lab. I think they're behind the conference room. Hopefully you all had a chance to take a look at. That has caused some of our supplies and materials to kind of go a little bit above where they would expect to be halfway through the year. Contract services are higher at this point mostly because of the OEA contract that at the time ended in November, so there was a lot of contract work that was involved with that. But again, I think we're about where we kind of need to be at this point in time, when things are moving along pretty good. Anybody have any specific questions about anything in the financials? I'll be glad to try to answer them. If not, this is just for your information only, so there's no action needed or anything, so.
Each year, the Georgia Department of Audits and Accounts form an audit division in accordance with OCGA 50-8-38. That's a performance review of the 12 regional commissions. And as part of this review, the survey of municipal and county governments throughout the state to assess. Part of the review, they survey municipal and county governments throughout the state to assess their satisfaction of the commission. Staff recently provided names and contact information to the Georgia Department of Audits and Accounts to receive the survey. Over the past 2 years, North Georgia has had the highest participation rate of local governments, and we sincerely hope that you will continue to do so. The regional commission received that the U.S. Census Bureau will be conducting the 2016 government unit survey preparation for the 2017 census. Please respond to this correspondence directly with the U.S. Census Bureau. Kevin Brown, our regional legal counsel, originally named the partner and corporate partner of the firm of
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Sidewalk Scott LLP out of Atlanta. Thank you, no, but congratulations. Any announcements?
Mr. Chairman, our neighbor and comrade out of, Marshallville's mayor, Bill Massey, passed away late Monday evening or early Tuesday morning. I would ask that we keep that family and the city of Marshallville.
Thank you, Brian, it's Bill, fine, man. Any other announcements? Only one I have, the budget audit and personnel committee will meet on February 26th at 10 o'clock here. The next meeting will be March 10th, 2016. At this time, we stand adjourned. Thank you.